Welcome back to another episode of Fully Stoked Podcast. I am your host, Sarah Stokes, and by day, I am a mortgage lender. So I'm a senior mortgage loan advisor with Coast to Coast Mortgage and Sarah Stokes Home Loans. But what I really love to do is connect you with people like my guest here today, Dr. Kayla Huntington. Dr. Kayla is the founder of Common Ground Chiropractic Care in Indian Trail. And Dr. Kayla focuses on nervous system-based chiropractic care. Okay, this helps people reconnect with their body so they can heal, adapt, and function at higher levels. That's what I need to do to like function at higher levels for sure. So, and I was just telling her just a moment ago, I am a believer, and she said it's funny because some people are and some people are not, but there's so much science behind it. So stay tuned. This is going to knock your socks off, I think, because all of this stuff is right up my alley. I love holistic everything. In fact, I was just cleaning off my table with vinegar water instead of Mrs. Meyer's, just in the Mrs. Meyer's bottle, but it's actually vinegar water. I used to use a glass bottle, but then I broke the glass bottle and it was a hot mess. So I decided no longer to use the glass bottle, but I might go back to it in the future. Anyway, welcome, Dr. Kayla. We're so glad that you're here. So tell us a little bit about your background. What is your journey like? How did you get to chiropractic? Like, what brought you here?
Yeah. So honestly, I've always been a lover. I've always been a healer. When it came to what am I actually going to do with my life, I wanted to be a veterinarian. I grew up riding horses.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
But I knew I wasn't cut out for the intensity of that lifestyle and that job. So I ended up being a business major in college, and I got just about all the way through undergrad, and I could feel the cubicle kind of closing in on me a little bit. And I knew it was time for a shift. And one of my friends introduced me to the pre-chiropractic club on campus. Oh. And I got to meet Dr. Lona Cook. She's an awesome figure in our profession. And she's done on the research side tons of research, especially with kids in elementary school getting chiropractic care. So that's a great resource. But moreover, she was somebody who was so empowered, so lively, so inspired. And I was like, what is it that you're doing? Because it just absolutely roped me in. Yeah. I was like, that's the kind of life I want to be able to live one day.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's very inspiring, to meet someone like that. So now you are like, what is it that helps shape your interest in nervous system health? Did you have any like physical symptoms or anything, riding horses or anything later on where you actually you went to a chiropractor or?
Well, funny. Yes. So initially my exposure to it was getting into a car accident, having all of the pain, right? So at that point I went to a chiropractor for a short bit and then I didn't understand the benefits beyond that. So we stopped going. Fast forward just a couple of years and I had a horse who at the biggest show of the year decided to have all of the health issues, right? So he was basically like throwing his head back at me, kept shaking all of the time, like really like, you're causing me pain. We're like, what's going on here? And that was when we were recommended an emergency chiropractor.
For the horse?
For the horse.
Wow, that's cool.
So going from wanting to be a veterinarian into seeing this other avenue with my horse and seeing how much it benefited him so easily and so quickly, I was like, oh, that's amazing. I mean, I could be an animal chiropractor my whole life. Wow. So I was still on that more pain-based side, didn't understand anything beyond. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I went to chiropractic school for that alone. I was like, I'm just going to work on animals. I'm going to work on horses my whole life. I started chiropractic school and I found specifically Network Spinal Club and Network Spinal Technique. And honestly, I forgot about animals in about week 1 of chiropractic school.
Really?
Well, so school is all taught by other chiropractors. So you're with people who have been in the field and in the profession, and they've seen the miracles, I'll call it, unfold in people's care.
Wow.
And so you're immediately surrounded by people who are also inspired and just soaking in all of this education. And I mean, I honestly kind of forgot about the horses and I really leaned into the nervous system and into taking care of people, families.
Yeah, it's amazing. I personally have, I guess it started when I was pregnant with chiropractic care, and I've gone to many doctors wherever I lived, and I've just had I absolutely have the utmost respect because it is a very holistic care. It's not just one thing, even though a lot of people go to a chiropractor because they were in a wreck and they have something wrong with their neck or their back hurts, just to fix one issue.
Yeah.
But there's so much more to it. And I've seen that. My kids, I've taken my daughters to chiropractors before. We used to live in Davidson. We would go up there. So I've had a lot of experience myself. I'm definitely a fan for sure. But I didn't know about horses. Maybe I've seen it on social media or something. So when your horse was in pain, how long did it take for the chiropractor to help the horse?
I mean, first adjustment, and he was functioning much better. That said, he was at a big show. I barrel raced, so it's tough on their bodies.
Oh, you barrel raced. Nice.
Yep. So I would say after once a week for a month, then it was able to be stretched on past that. And we just kept him under consistent care. And he really never had big issues like that again.
Okay. So just tell me this, like, how would a chiropractor adjust a horse? How is that? Because they're huge. The horse is huge. Is it just manipulating just slightly, or is it?
So the interesting thing is that the horse is huge, but the horse doesn't have the mental strategies and the mental, trying to keep themselves safe or protect or guard, that they really lean into the adjustment and they do a lot of the work actually for you.
Oh, that's
and cool. They're much more intuitive and almost tell you where to go. But it is the same exact thing. You use their body, creating different maneuvers with different amounts of leverage, right? And being able to move those joints. And like I said, they don't have these big protection mechanisms around them. So you'll see them, like the one thing that they'll do is they'll shake or they'll just start chomping. And it's just that release that their bodies naturally experience.
Yeah.
But they don't chomp your mouth. You're going to be a weirdo. Try to talk themselves out of it.
Right.
But then also there's big boxes that chiropractors will stand on to get a little bit more advantage over the top of their back.
Okay, I get that.
They're still big animals.
I get that. So you graduated a little over a year ago, and then did you immediately open Common Ground Chiropractic, or what inspired you to open up your own chiropractic clinic? Is it called a clinic, I guess, instead of going to work for someone else?
I had the sense from the very beginning that I could work for somebody else for 3 to 6 months, and I would probably start getting a little bit restless. So I figured, why not just take the leap right off of the bat? I'm going to hit all the same learning curves. I have lots of mentors around me that are super open to giving feedback. So honestly, I just knew I would outgrow a position really fast. So you
know your strengths, so that's good, and you know your weaknesses, and that's good. Well, you're doing it. You're absolutely doing all the right things to grow your business. I don't know anything about chiropractic care as far as being a doctor, but you are definitely networking and connecting with people and doing things like this. So it's going to definitely help grow your business. So yay, I'm proud of you. I mean, you're very young, but very knowledgeable. So tell us what nervous system-based chiropractic care is.
Yeah. So from its foundation, chiropractic is about the nervous system.
Okay.
We are adjusting the spinal bones. Inside of the spinal bones is the spinal cord.
Right.
So those bones are there to protect it. From that cord, there's all of these different nerves running off of it. So when a bone goes out of place, and that's usually where people go to a typical chiropractor, right? They start feeling these pain signals. You're able to adjust that bone back into place, take the pressure off the nerves, and voila, people start feeling better, right?
Wow, yeah.
What makes things a little bit different about the way that I practice is that instead of looking at one single bone or a couple of bones that have moved out of place, we're looking at the entirety of the system.
Okay.
So we're looking at the body as a whole and watching how different patterns are being shown in the system and how we can address them. So nervous system-based chiropractic care is about more than just moving the bones, right? But actually, what is the system like underneath it? What is the tone of the system? maybe if there are bones out of place, why did they go out of place in the beginning? We understand that the nervous system, the brain, the spinal cord, the nervous system is the ultimate master system of our bodies. Everything that we take in, all the information we take in, is processed through our brain and our spinal cord. It's sent back out through our body to respond. So we look at what is the tone of the system when we're in this real like protective kind of state, that real tense state. The communication throughout the whole system is not going to be the same. And when we are able to kind of release some of that tension, kind of unwind some of those patterns, then the body starts to respond more normally in the way it actually should.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So one of the key ideas here was that your body is not broken. It's just often stuck in survival mode. So you help people get unstuck, right?
Yeah. So like I said, when we go through these different experiences in our lives, say there's a time when we're not safe or when we're not provided for, our bodies learn how to respond and learn how to survive. They remember, our bodies remember those patterns. And then later on down the line, maybe once again, we're in a situation where we don't have the most energy, the most resources available to us. Our bodies are going to default back to that survival mode.
Yeah.
So that's when I'm talking about patterns that are happening.
Yeah.
That's a pattern in the system. And then later on in life, when we repeat those patterns, we're going to do it for that survival mechanism. But it's probably at that point in time no longer going to be what really serves us to the highest, right? So that's that whole notion of unwinding different patterns, is finding those survival patterns inside of your system, where they live, where they cause the most tension, or what's happening, how it's showing through the body, and just through light, gentle care, unwinding some of those, bringing some energy back into the system where things are good too.
Right.
So it helps the body just relax and unwind some. And in that, then these tucked in survival, like real rigid patterns start to open up. Our shoulders will open up. Our chest opens up. Our posture changes.
I'm starting to think about it now as I'm sitting here. I'm like, that's right. Yes.
I know everybody's like, hold on, let me check my posture now that you're talking about it. But as that posture starts to change, your literal perspective of the world changes as well. So again, like you had said, it's not that you're broken. It's that your system is really locked down and it's just trying to keep you safe. But you're probably not in just a survival state. So when we can strip away some of that tension, it just unwinds, and then your perspective changes.
It's almost like chiropractic care would be really good in tandem with, like talk therapy or different modalities, different therapies. And you also, do you practice Reiki or no?
No.
Okay. So just chiropractic care. All right. So you often work with women, but you do work with men too. We are part of a women's group. I know you've probably heard all the different women's groups, but that's how we met. And well, when you're in a women's group, you talk about women's health, then. But you do work with men as well.
Yeah.
But one of the areas that you're really good at is working with women and maybe even high achievers, entrepreneurs. Why do you think that high achieving women or men can get so burnout so quickly? Is it because of these patterns of behavior that you were talking about?
Yeah. So the burnout itself, what I would say is that oftentimes we find ourselves in roles in our lives. And we always want to serve those roles, whether it's mother, whether it's business owner, whether it's team leader, right? So I think those high achievers, quote unquote, they have more roles that they're trying to fit into and that they're trying to serve.
That's good. So how does the nervous system respond to pressure and deadlines and expectations and leadership and things like that?
Yeah. So when we have all of those roles that we're really trying to live up to, and then all these other different outside expectations, such as the deadlines, it puts our systems back into that fight or flight state. I mean, modern day life is very different from way back when life, but our system is the exact same. So our system can't honestly tell the difference whether it's a saber-toothed tiger that's chasing us or if it's just this tough deadline that's coming up.
Really?
Right?
Oh.
Yes, really. um, so it's still a very primitive system. And that's where, when we are under these constant different deadlines, these constant demands from other people to other people, that safety mechanism never is able to really kick in. We're always kind of running from the tiger, right?
Makes sense.
So that's how, when people live these really quote unquote, again, high achieving lives, because high achieving can
pressure.
be so many different things, right? It could be CEO of a business, it could be a mom of two.
Right.
I mean, high achieving can be so many different things.
Right.
But it really comes down to, like, what are those roles that we're living in and the expectations inside of those roles? And then also, like you were saying with the deadlines, those kind of things, how many different things are telling us, you gotta go, you gotta go, you gotta go.
Yeah.
Even when you scroll on your phone in the evening to relax, you get mindset this or change this, do this differently in your house. So even in those relaxation moments, if we're not actually taking time to sit back, be still, even then we're getting those signals. There's more to do. There's more to do.
So why do you think creativity shuts down when the body is in survival mode?
I mean, sit here with me and think about it, right?
Yeah.
If you're in this survival safety state, your shoulders are curled in, your body's hunched forward, you're tense. Try and think about anything positive or anything that's in the realm of possibility. All of that really shuts off. We go into that primitive brain, and the only thing that matters is what's coming next, what's on the horizon. Am I cared for? We're not able to expand, have those higher level, bigger thoughts. Yeah.
That's great. So creativity is probably connected to the nervous system, would you say? Obviously, right? Yeah. So, Dr. Kayla, how can regulating the body unlock creativity and innovation for entrepreneurs and business owners? Because they are essentially creatives. So, like, how can that regulation of the body, I guess all of the tension, right, and some of the things that you do at your office, what are they? What is that to regulate the body? What do you do? Like, what are some of the treatments, I guess?
Yeah. So to start with, what do we do? It's looking at the body itself, looking at the whole person. We're checking different areas for different indicators of stressors inside of the body. For example, we'll do different leg checks and specifically ankle checks, because there's 3 different layers, but specifically the dura mater that protects your spinal cord starts all the way up in your skull, travels down through your brainstem, through the entirety of your spine, into your pelvis, and splits off into both legs. And it anchors right at that heel bone.
What's it called?
The dura mater.
Dura mater. Okay.
So this dura mater, it's meant to protect the spinal cord.
Okay.
What it does is that it shows us throughout the entire system how much tension is there in different areas.
Really?
So when your body's in that, like I mentioned, lockdown state, your ankles will have almost no give to them because your body's, gotta stay safe. But as some of that really bound up tension and energy starts to unwind and starts to become more unbound, we find more flexibility in your system. So in the office, what do? It's looking for these different indicators in different areas, not just where your spine is locked down, like most chiropractors will do, where your spine's locked down and we go to that area out of Forsen. Where it actually takes us to is areas where your spine is healthier, where your spine has more energy there. We work in that area in order to
like spread
the goodness.
Okay.
Yeah. So the way that I practice, we don't call it just adjustments, but it's entrainments. So there's the tone of your system. When your body is in a more disconnected state, usually when we have a lot of stress or a lot of we got to keep ourselves safe. So our bodies start to disconnect. So you will literally have different tones in different areas of your body.
Really? Yeah. Like, you mean like I have a lot of stress sometimes in my shoulders and I'll notice my shoulders are up, but maybe, my belly is not. Is that what you mean? Like different?
So tension in your shoulders, that's usually more of an active, it's your muscular system. That's really tight and bound up.
Yeah.
But what are the bones in that area like? Are they also tense? Are they also in this protective state? Or is the tone of them a little bit more shut off, maybe a little bit more shut down.
You can tell where your bones are? Like you could actually tell about bones, the tension state in bones?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
How do you tell? You can just touch it or what?
Yeah, it's all through touch and it's all just through sense. It's a matter of being present with the person on the table.
Wow.
That's one of the things is, we spend a lot more time in the office. My ideal flow, I'll have 2 to 3 people on tables at a time, and I'll flow between the different people, adjusting them, because it gives your body time to actually process. Gives your body time to actually breathe through the adjustment too.
Okay.
And coming back to that word entrainment, is bringing those different areas of your body back onto kind of the same level, into the same tone.
Okay.
So it's not just about going to like the bad, sticky areas of your spine, but we're also going to areas where there's a lot of life and there's a lot of energy there.
Yeah.
So that we can share that with the rest of the body, especially areas that have been disconnected or shut off. So what does that mean for the business owner and for the creative? If your body is only functioning in this really dense kind of high energy tone, but high energy as in tightness, chaos, when your body's operating primarily in that system, you are not going to have the energy for bigger thoughts to be able to see into the future.
Creativity.
If you can only look through the front door, you can't see past over the horizon.
So creativity absolutely is stunted by what you just said. All of that, like science-backed data, is really saying that's the reason why I lack creativity sometimes, because maybe I need to, I don't know, regulate my body or something, right? I need to go see you. I do. All right. So can you give us some examples of common ways that stress may manifest in a person's body that you've seen? Because some people might not know that they're stressed out, honestly. So give us some hints and like different ways that you've seen.
Yeah. And with that, one of the things that's interesting about my office is we talk, pain is a really important signal. So we do talk about pain, but that's not my primary message. And that's not the primary thing that we're tracking throughout care. For example, a lot of the people that come into my office, they have issues, not just, oh, my shoulder hurts, but I have IBS. I have like my digestion just doesn't work right. Or another thing I see really often is anxiety.
Lots of anxiety nowadays.
Lots of anxiety. And that's from that constant fight or flight kind of pressure state. And our bodies aren't able to shift back into the rest and digest or into that parasympathetic. We're just stuck in fight or flight sympathetic all of the time.
Yeah.
Other ways that it can show up in the body, though, I mean, every area shows tension differently. And one of the things we talk about with the active or the muscular system is that that's where your emotions are really held. We call that the emotional system. So what are some of the things that you're experiencing and how might they show up in the body? That digestion, the tummy area, when we see a lot of digestive issues, this is often a lot of frustration. There's even abandonment kind of emotions that come into this area.
Yeah.
When we're talking more about chest pain, chest tightness, that's that trying to control, trying to have it, trying to keep safety, trying to control the world around you. Also being fearful of what's coming. We see a lot of women now with PCOS, infertility. This is something that's becoming so big. There's such a market space around it too, which is so unfortunate.
Yeah.
But we can imagine some of the traumas that might have happened to women before and the way that their body has kept that score and their body is showing what's happened in the past through what they're experiencing now.
The Body Keeps Score. That's a good book. Yeah.
That is a phenomenal book. That is an absolute recommended read for anybody.
Okay, so get The Body Keeps Score. It is absolutely an incredible book. That is interesting because I have met so many people recently with PCOS, and I just heard about it, maybe one person 20 years ago, but it seems like it's just so many people now are dealing with that. And you're saying maybe even trauma can cause things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. a lot of women who deal with PCOS, infertility, painful periods, those kind of things, when you have that sort of tension and, I mean, we'll call it trauma, that's it being held in the pelvis, our body also reflects that elsewhere. So we have our deep frontal fascial line. It starts in your skull, goes into your shoulders, passes down through your torso and into your pelvis. So one of the things with that we see is that when there's tension in the pelvis, it's reflected also tension up in the jaw. So how many women have really painful periods and then also experience migraines, right? Or the TMJ, all of these different things. Our bodies are also, the so story connected. Is being reflected. Yes. Wow, yeah. And that's one of my biggest gripes is when we try to treat the body as if it's one piece or one part. How can you delineate any of this from itself? Because every different area is working hand in hand all day long, constantly.
Our emotions affect our body and then the long-term effects of that. And you said, tension in your pelvis and then TMJ potentially or migraines. I've ground my teeth my whole life. And it's just, I've heard there's all kinds of things behind it that it could be. But I just deal with it. I just wear a mouth guard, sleep, and then it's fine, But I would really like to get to the bottom of it too and stop it. I think I did. I think for a while I was working on it and it just, I guess I wasn't working on it hard enough because it didn't go away. But I'm just one example. There's so many other women out there that are dealing with migraines. So many people have migraines. So many people have debilitating migraines. So many people have PCOS. We were talking about that. And anxiety and stomach issues and what were you saying, belly, is that anxiety or does anxiety manifest in multiple ways?
Multiple ways, but especially when it comes to that digestive tract, more like frustration, I think. Anger, also some fear as well. I mean, if you think about being chased by the tiger, your body is no longer focused on digesting your lunch anymore. Right. It is fully in survival protection mode. Wow. So even in that, your body, you're going to shift states and your body's digestion, normal processes are going to slow down.
Yeah. So you do workshops? Do you do it at Common Ground? Yeah. Okay, great. So she's got workshops, so they can just go to your website.
We'll definitely be talking
soon. You should. Can they check out your website or your social media? If they wanted to follow you and find out if you're doing a workshop or anything like that, how should they check you out?
Yeah. Instagram is definitely where I'm most active, and then Instagram kind of posts everything to Facebook.
Yeah.
But then also, yes, definitely on the website. But Instagram, Common Ground Chiro is going to be where we're the most active, the most up to date.
And I will include it in the summary below so you can get all of her contact information here. And then on any social media, I'll also include that too, because this is fascinating. I have been to so many chiropractors all over, not just in one city, not just in Indian Trail, but everywhere. And it's all so valuable. And speaking of community building, I'm a big advocate for community building. Does it affect your physical health? Community?
Oh my gosh. I think that's part of why we're sicker than we ever have been before, is because we're more isolated than we ever have been before.
Yeah.
Healing really does happen in community and in ways you would never expect. Even just being present or seeing somebody else's quote unquote healing moment, it shows you what else is possible for you even. Like I see it even on my tables, we see movement on the tables. Coughing, there's times where people will even yell on the table.
Really?
And that to me is not a scary moment. That is
a release. Are they releasing?
It's the release.
Yes.
It's the nervous system taking what has happened to it in the past, those feelings that we've probably shut down in the past, and it's expressing them. It's letting it out. And for the person next to them on the table, they're probably like, whoa, what's going on? But at the same time, it shows them, oh, this could also be possible for me. Is there anything else that I'm harboring? Is there anything that's stored inside of me that needs to come out?
Yeah, that's fantastic. I really think if someone is going to talk therapy, if they're, working with a therapist or a counselor, it sounds like if you have a good chiropractor like Dr. Kayla, that would be so good to do at the same time.
It's so funny you say that. I have some extra spaces in my office that I'm looking to fill.
Yeah.
And I would absolutely love to have a mental health counselor in my office, because I think that the two practices lend so well to one another.
Yeah.
Because people will come to me with things that I fully admittedly am not prepared and equipped to handle, right?
Right.
That is the job for a therapist.
And you can refer them. Yeah.
Same thing where I have relationships with therapists in the area, and even they say they can think, oh, so many people in my practice, they need to just stop talking about it, but to actually feel it, that real embodiment of what they're working through, and feeling safety in their body as well. So I think the two lend to one another so well, and that's actually something I'm really hoping to bring in specifically to my practice.
Do you have what do you think about massage therapy? Because I've had emotional release with massage therapy before, so I think there's something to that. I mean,
absolutely.
Is that someone that you would work closely with too?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to that. Well, for one community, but in this particularly, it's healing touch. We, throughout all the generations, we have always used healing touch. This is another one of those where we're the most impersonal we've ever been with our care providers.
Yeah.
We don't have anybody touching us, giving that safe feeling, that co-regulation. We don't get that enough.
That's true.
So when it comes to chiropractic, acupuncturist, massage, all of those different things, we're working with different systems, but at the same time, we're kind of doing all of the same thing as well. It's through connecting with the person on your table, through connecting with their nervous system, you are able to regulate off of one another and then to actually heal. And that's where it comes back to community again, too. It is so valuable to be around other people, just to know that somebody else cares about you.
It is valuable.
Especially when we're so separated. It's really easy to forget that. When we're sitting on our phone, or on our couch at night, it's easy to forget that there's other people around. So the more you can build those practices into your life, the more you can feel that support is always behind you.
I love that. And I mean, I work from home and so many other people work from home too. So it's just another layer. We used to go to an office and clock in and sit behind a desk all day. Yes, it was a hassle, but also you were around people all day. And now I could potentially go all day on Friday and not see another soul. I could work all day. That's about the only day of the week for me. But so many people are in that same boat where they're just not around other people. If there's not a reason to go out of the house, it's hard to get that community. It's hard touch. I mean, I don't really hug a lot of people unless I know them nowadays because of COVID. I just learned to stop hugging people and touching people, which is okay. But I do think there's a healthy touch. And there is something to a hug. Like it changes. It really is. I mean, I don't like to be hugged by people that I, don't know, obviously, but by my loved ones, it's important. It's important to have that touch. Okay, I have some rapid fire personal questions for you. Ready?
Okay.
What's your favorite way to relax and reset your nervous system?
Favorite way, gardening. Easy.
Oh, I love it.
Easy.
Yes. All right. So what's your favorite meal to cook?
Favorite meal to cook? Squash just came to my mind. I grew up with squash with brown sugar on top.
Oh, nice.
Yum.
What type of squash is it? The
butternut squash.
Butternut squash. I love butternut squash. I do. I love butternut squash soup in the fall. It's my favorite.
Butternut squash, a little bit of spicy sausage, potatoes, onions, garlic. Mwah.
Yum. Favorite place to walk or hike? You're a mountain lover, right?
I'm a mountain lover. Yeah. I mean, I'm from Minnesota originally, but something about North Carolina, something about the Appalachian Mountains, it was like, this is where you need to be.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, Western North Carolina, just about anywhere.
Well, hit me up next time you're in Western North Carolina, okay? I'll probably be there.
Gardening teaches about patience and growth. I mean, when you plant a seed, you realize how much you actually have to nurture it. I just put seeds out in my greenhouse and they have been so dry and I'm like, oh my gosh. So it's every single day. There's an intentional step to go out there at least once, at least twice to water them. So you're
Sure.
taking those intentional steps through and through,
Yeah.
and then you're watching that slow progress. And then at the end of the year, more often than not, they're going to die off.
Yeah.
Or they're at least going to go into that, call it like a hibernation state right over the winter.
Yeah.
So it's also acknowledging that there's different seasons to life, not just the environment, but to our own lives.
Well, you have such a beautiful outlook on everything. I love the way you explain everything.
One health myth that I wish would just disappear is thinking that we can force ourselves into doing more, thinking that we can force ourselves into the next thing, and that it's not going to have any repercussions on us.
Uh-oh.
More caffeine isn't always
She hit me right there, nail on the head. You're right. You're right. Okay. If there was one thing that you wanted the viewers to take away from from our talk today, what would it be?
First thing that comes to mind is that you don't need, in the world of chiropractic, more force doesn't always mean a better adjustment. More presence from your practitioner is what really, really matters the most. And if you are able to just allow yourself the time and allow yourself the space throughout the week to dedicate towards your healing, there are possibilities available to you beyond what you can even imagine. It is so much more than just getting out of pain, but you can literally see shifts throughout your entire life with this kind of care. So.
Wow. That's really good. Well, Dr. Kayla, thank you so much for joining us today on Fully Stoked Podcast. Dr. Kayla is the founder of Common Ground Chiropractic in Indian Trail. Go check her out, Indian Trail, North Carolina. It is right outside of Charlotte. She's very knowledgeable, as you can tell. And I can't wait for my first appointment with her. As always, we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot, everybody. Bye.